Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Steve. Wow. Remember when I was saying, this was probably a few months ago or like a month or two ago, I said the Los Angeles Clippers are not title contenders. They're just a really good team in a really good conference. I disagree. The way they're playing, they're annihilating teams. I mean, they're 9-1 right now. And the only team they lost to were Oklahoma City Thunder, actually. So they should be 10-0 because they should have beat that team. But the Clippers are 9-1. They're going in. I mean, they're ridiculous, dude. The way this team is playing with DeAndre Jordan last night against Minnesota, he shot 10 of 16 from the free throw line for 63% from the free throw line, which, by the way, is an improvement. It's not great, but at the end of the day, if he can continue to make at least 60% of those, or at least a little more, or even slightly less, if he could just make at least half of the free throws he makes while he's going to the free throw line, teams aren't going to foul him as much because he's still going to score, And then you had Luke Mbahumute, who had a really solid game as well against Minnesota. 15 points on 6 of 8 from the field. Blake Griffin had 20 points on 11 rebounds. I would like him to be a little more efficient. He shot 7 of 17, but that does happen. JJ Redick had a great game, 18 points on 7 of 13 shooting. Chris Paul did his thing with 19 points, 4 rebounds, and 8 assists. 57% from the field. Jamal Crawford did his thing, 10 points on 4 of 8 from the field. I mean, the Clippers, they're a really good team, man. And they're pretty much the same team they've been for a long time. They're solid, dude. They're solid. They have depth. At their front court, they have DeAndre Jordan. They have Blake Griffin, Luke Mbahumute, Maurice Spates, and Brandon Bass. And they also have Paul Pierce for the perimeter in terms of being like a wing player. You know what I mean? And then they have JJ Redick, Chris Paul, Jamal Crawford, Austin Rivers, and Raymond Felton. This team is deep. And it's going to take, in order for them to beat a team like the Golden State Warriors in a best of 7, I think they can beat the Spurs. But in order for them to beat the Golden State Warriors in a best of 7, Chris Paul is probably going to need to average around 20-plus points per game, anywhere from 20 to 22, and 10-plus assists. Blake Griffin's going to have to average anywhere from 25 and 12. DeAndre Jordan's going to have to make his free throws, and the bench is going to have to do their thing, especially led by Jamal Crawford, the numerous time 6th man of the year. If they can play like that, this team is set for the future. They're set for the future. And to be honest, the way this season is going, the Clippers are probably going to luck out. Because if, for example, if the Los Angeles Clippers make it to the Western Conference Finals and force a Game 7 against Golden State, it's all right if they don't even win, but if they force a Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors, Chris Paul and Blake Griffin are not leaving. They're not leaving. So, it's crazy, man. We came into the season thinking Chris Paul is going to leave, possibilities going to the Knicks or wherever else. He's not going to the Spurs. He wouldn't fit in with that, because he's a ball-dominant point guard, and he runs the offense. It's not pass, it runs through him. You move without the ball, he'll give it to you. It's not like, I'm coming off the screen, I'm shooting. That's not how he plays. So that wouldn't work. But, we came into the season thinking Blake Griffin and Chris Paul were probably going to depart ways, but it's looking like they're going to stay together, man. And, I'm happy. They're playing well. They're 9-1. They had a disappointing end to the season last year because of injury, but, they're on the right path. So that's good, man. That's really good. The San Antonio Spurs, they played the Houston Rockets, and they beat them 106-101. James Harden had a triple-double. Now, Kawhi Leonard didn't play too good, but the Spurs still came out on top, and Kawhi Leonard did kind of take over in the end. But, James Harden did his thing as well with that triple-double. Spurs are 7-3. Houston is 5-4. James Harden's extremely valuable, and I feel bad because, again, another player on an aging team in terms of role players. They need to get better role players around him. They need to do something this offseason, because if I were James Harden, I wouldn't stay there any longer, I don't know when he's a free agent exactly, but I wouldn't stay there any longer, Bad enough I already messed up signing with Adidas. Let me stop, man. I still don't understand why any athlete would, especially someone to the likes of James Harden, would sign with Adidas, bro. Just go to Nike, dude. Look at Kyrie. You're better than Kyrie. And your shoes could have been top of the tier, man. But yeah, Kristaps Porzingis, why'd you sign with them, man? Nothing against Adidas or Reebok or Derrick Rose with Reebok, or was it? No, it was Adidas. Whoever signs with Adidas or Reebok, I feel bad for y'all. I'll just leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that, man, because whatever. We'll just leave it at that. So Dwight Howard and the Atlanta Hawks. Yes, the Atlanta Hawks are better without Dwight Howard. Without Al Horford. I told you guys this before. Al Horford is extremely overrated. I don't know, man. I don't get why people were so hyped about him. But anyway, so the Atlanta Hawks are 7-2. Dwight Howard is doing his thing. He's averaging around 14 points per game. Actually, no, I think it's like 15, actually. Around 15 to 16 points per game and like 11, 12 rebounds per game, doing his thing. He's not averaging 22 like he used to in his Orlando days and things like that. But again, he's still doing his thing. And the Atlanta Hawks are better without Jeff Teague, overrated bum, and better without Al Horford, another overrated bum. The reason why I say that is because the hype that those two players get are ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous. Paul George is frustrated with Indiana. I'm not surprised. I went into the season saying that would happen. Not surprising at all. I feel bad for Paul George because now he has to deal with Jeff Teague for a while. And now Isaiah Thomas has to deal with Al Horford. But yeah, so back to the James Harden thing. I'd just like to say, let's finish off with the Atlanta Hawks. So they are better without Jeff Teague and Al Horford, and I think they will be around a 5 seed in the East, anywhere from 5, maybe 4 at most. Anywhere down from 4 to 6, I would say. And Chicago's doing well. Jimmy Butler had a crazy game. You know what I mean? Jimmy Buckets had 37 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. And the Chicago Bulls beat the Washington Wizards 106 to 95. Chicago is 6-4, and the Washington Wizards are 2-7. Chicago's doing their thing, man. Surprising a lot of people. A lot of people were sleeping on them, because of their backcourt shooting and things like that. But a lot of people sleeping on this team, man. They're a really good team, and it's gonna be scary, man. It's gonna be scary. So I want to just touch up on DeMar DeRozan one more time because I talked about it in my last video, but I want to elaborate a little more in terms of why I think he's so good now. In terms of scoring, he still needs to improve his three-point shot, but that mid-range game is elite, man. Oh my goodness. And then I remember last night against the Knicks, someone switched on him. I don't remember who. I think it was Kuzminskis. And this dude, DeRozan, broke his ankles with each crossover. He crossed over 4 times, spun, he got fouled, and he hit the and one. And then on the next play, he went to the 3-point line, shot it, and 1 from 3. This guy is ridiculous. They were chanting MVP. His game has improved so much. I hope he can continue to do that, especially when the playoffs come. That's when it gets really hard to stay consistent when the playoffs come. Hopefully he can. You never know. You know what I mean? Just a great player, man. I'm amazed how big of a leap he's taken since last year, if you really think about it. Last year he was all right, he's a solid player. He's doing his thing in Toronto. He can't, and everyone was he's an all-star, but he's not really a superstar. But now, he's one of, I think, 3 other players to score 30 in their first 9 out of 10 games or something crazy like that. Or 7 out of 9, 8 out of 9 games or whatever. This dude is crazy. Yeah, 8 out of 9 games. He just tallied his 8th 30-point game. He's like the 3rd or 4th player in NBA history to tally 8 out of 9 30-point games in the first 9 games. That's crazy, man. This dude is crazy. Isaiah Thomas went clutch against Indiana. I'm not sure why Paul George sat out. I don't remember why. But, it's all good. Indiana should be all right. Probably make a low seed in the East. Same with Boston. But Boston, Isaiah Thomas took over in the end. I actually saw the end. He scored I think he scored the final 6 or 8 points for Boston. It was crazy, man. That little dude. Dude is 5'9". He's listed as 5'9", but he's really 5'7". And he's doing his thing. You want to know why? Do you see how buff that guy is? That dude is huge, man. Dude is freaking. He was jail big. You ever see someone go into jail and come? That's how big he is. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that's how huge he is. It's crazy. But yeah. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much gonna do it for today. There's gonna be a poll at the, you know what? I'll probably just say this in the beginning. I'll add it on into the beginning of the video. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm out of here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Peace.